Let me make it a bit more interesting. Tutoke 70 tukurudishe 60. You could, but you see also,
you want to be a practicing engineer.
Ulikuwa unalipwa na M-Pesa.
Actually one of the first drive-throughs.
You wake up tomorrow morning, you are a 70-year-old with $1 billion. Welcome to yet another episode of the Pipeline Podcast, TPP. Those letters that don't follow each other on the keyboard. Yes, and in this episode we have one of our own, one of our senior members at Synergetic on episode 4, and hope that you'll enjoy this episode. It's going to be a very insightful session for you, and you'll learn a few things about his discipline of engineering.
Yes. Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to another episode. You know, it's very interesting because when you're doing the pilot, we did it video.
We did it, yeah.
And it actually never got to air for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yes.
But here we are yet again,
Yeah.
yet another episode. So maybe just start by introducing yourself to us. Who is Mike?
Okay. Mike is, my full names are Michael Musyoki. I'm an electrical engineer with over 12 years of experience. My years of experience cut across various industries: oil and gas, building services, industrial. I've done safety audits. I've done energy audits. So it's been a very good wholesome mix in terms of years of experience.
Wow, 12 years. That must be something, eh?
Yeah.
And at Synergetic, what role do you play?
At Synergetic, I'm an electrical and ICA lead. So in other words, I'm in charge of the entire electrical team together with the instrumentation control and automation team. Yeah.
Interesting. And how did you get yourself in electrical engineering? Was it an inspiration, or did you just, have that paper with the courses on it, dropped a pen, and where it fell was electrical engineering?
No, it basically came from I was exposed to a lot of I got a chance to go and do some site visits with some family members. One of my family members is in the same industry, and they're able to expose me what happens in the construction industry, and I got to interact with quite a number of these engineers, quite a number of these architects. So for me, it was very interesting growing up. So I knew I would end up somewhere. I just wasn't sure whether it was engineering or architecture, but it became now electrical engineering.
So you always knew you wanted to pursue something technical.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Interesting. And your life through campus and maybe graduation and everything. How did you land your first job? How was it? Was it an engineering job? Was it an engineering job? How was it basically for you, the experience after graduation? So
after graduation, what happened is I ended up getting a job a few weeks just after I graduated, luckily. It was a sales engineering job. So it was like a mix of a bit of engineering, but mostly sales engineering. So what we were doing surge protection devices. So it was a good entry point in terms of starting the engineering career that has brought me this far.
Interesting. Any lessons you learned from it?
Yes. So in that, for that first job, one of the biggest lessons I learned was stakeholder engagement and more or less how to read your clients and your customers, which is something I use up to date. Anytime we're dealing with any clients or any clients and I'm doing any presentations, I'm already aware of what they would want. I already know what kind of client I'm dealing with. So that's something I picked from it.
Interesting. So basically from the onset, there are skills. Basically what I'm hearing you say is from your very first job, whether it's something you liked or not, there are certain skills that you're able to learn from there, that you're able to apply across the rest of your career.
Yes.
Interesting. In terms of remuneration, how was it?
It was not the best. Let me not go into details of how the remuneration.
Mr. Sales Engineer, how much are you making on your first job? We won't ask about the current one, but that first job.
it was really low for an entry level. For entry level positions, for an engineer, people were getting much more than what I was getting.
Were you paying taxes? Was it it was below minimum wage?
Let me just say, ile ilikuwa inawekwa kwa bahasha unapatiwa hiyo salary.
Ulikuwa unalipwa na M-Pesa. We've been there, man. We've been there, and it's very interesting because when you're in your final years of campus, you always dream of this very big job.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, the funny thing is, at that time when you're getting the envelope, you know you're excited. This is your first salary.
Yeah.
So you feel like, hey, you feel like it's a lot of money. Then after the first few months, you start comparing yourself and seeing what other people are getting. You start realizing, I'm selling myself short somewhere. So yeah, it was a good experience.
It's very interesting because, you know, I remember the first time I saw my name on a check. You know, I almost framed that check. I remembered from business class in high school, we were told that a check expires after some time, but I thought I needed to frame that check. It was a check 15,000, you know. But it was the first time I was getting paid. I've earned this money. This is not help. This is not a donation from anyone. There's a pride that comes with that first salary.
Yeah, a lot of pride. And it looks like a lot of money. It felt very good. It felt very good. At least, you know, you feel like, at least you started working, and at least, you know, you started bringing home a salary. It was good.
How long did you do that job for?
I was there for 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So, Engineer Mike, in terms of the industry trends in electrical engineering, how do you see the field evolving in the next decade or so?
Man, I think even just with everything else that's going on around us, there's so many changes in technology and things to do with AI, machine learning. I'm seeing a lot of that being integrated in even just not only in electrical engineering, but in engineering as a whole. In the sense that it's going to become a part of our lives in terms of just the tools that we use from day to day in our design software. So we're going to probably see AI coming in, and then AI helping us even do calculations, do simulations. So in terms of future, that's where I'm seeing it's probably going to be doing things a lot faster. It's going to be more accurate, and the outcome is going to become much better.
Interesting. So, for a typical electrical engineer, how do you see people losing jobs, for example? And two-part question: do you think AI is going to have some electrical engineers losing their jobs? And how does one keep themselves abreast so that reality does not, catch up with them?
Okay, for now, I don't see it as a threat because engineering is very customer sensitive, or it's very personalized. For AI, it's very difficult to get it to personalize to that level. So I think based on that alone, I don't see engineers losing their jobs. I'll take it as an advantage for the engineering career. I think even in terms of engineering practices, in terms of the quality of output of work we'll be doing, that will help us improve on the quality of work.
So basically what you're saying is that automation in the AI, there's a certain extent that the current technology can't go beyond. So there's still going to be some human element.
There has to be a human element.
There's a human element that is going to be required.
Has to be.
Yeah. So basically for the typical engineer, it's just identifying that human element.
Yes. And not to keep yourself keep yourself relevant is for you to do things like machine learning. Learn how to use AI to help you improve your craft, improve how you practice also.
Yeah, sure. You reminded me of Revit. I remember how engineers, some engineers are still very rigid to adopt Revit, And the time is coming when Revit is going to be, or rather beam modeling, is going to be the way to go. And the thing is, you can never fight technology.
Yes, you can't.
You have to find a way to embrace it and incorporate it into what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's for the greater good. I think it's good to embrace that change because it also keeps you relevant, and it will help improve how we do our work.
Wow, interesting. And renewable energy, what do you think of renewable energy and how it affects electrical?
So for renewable energy, it's going to be it's already becoming a very big point of concern. It's a big issue right now, even as as we even continue doing our work, or at this age, we're trying to make sure that all our designs are trying to bring out a sustainability component. So in other words, when we're doing our designs, we're always having that element,
sustainability
element at the back of our heads. So it has a very big role to play with the world evolving, and us actually confirming that as much as these sustainable resources, most of them might be we maybe say they're renewable, but they're also limited.
They're not perpetual.
They're not perpetual, yeah. So they have a lifespan, in other words. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And you've mentioned AI, or rather we've spoken about AI, we've spoken about renewable energy and all these new trends that are coming up. How do you stay updated with these trends?
Well, it's through keeping in touch with what's happening in journals, trying to always see what new technologies are coming up, new cutting edge technologies that are emerging, going for seminars where they are trying to get us to even embrace some of these new trends, and just also trying to read about new advances in technology in general. Yeah.
So basically, continuous professional development, always seeking new knowledge.
And trying to see how things are done out there, not necessarily sticking to the way things are done within Kenya. Trying to see what other technologies are also being used.
Mike, tell us something about any challenges you faced in your career. You mentioned that you've been in the market for 12 years. Any significant challenges, any failures, and any things that you probably learned from them, how you'd have handled them differently?
Okay, so I won't call them necessarily failures. I'll call them lessons learned. So in terms of lessons learned, what I will say is never assume anything, and always be proactive. In everything that you do. Just I learned you have to be proactive in everything that you do and never assume anything. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned, and I apply it in everything that I do to date.
Interesting. Never assume anything. And what do you enjoy most about your career?
Well, I enjoy almost everything because I'm passionate about it. So for me, because I'm passionate about it, it means I enjoy everything I do about it. I enjoy the design process. I enjoy the site visits. I enjoy seeing projects coming to life. So for me, it's fulfilling for me in that way because I have the passion for it.
True. You know, as engineers, one of the most fulfilling things is you're doing a drive and then you're there with your family and you pass a building and you know, sometimes even just stop. I stop in some towns and you're in Nakuru and you take them on a tour of Nakuru, tell you see that hotel.
Yes. It feels
you
very
see that
good.
Car, whatever, it
feels very nice.
It feels good to have been part of a project where you saw it from inception, from a greenfield all the way to a functional building that is being utilized to deliver on client needs. All right, interesting. And is there any particular moment in your career that you found particularly rewarding? Any specific project probably that you delivered on, or
Well, there have been very many, and it's usually the hard ones, the ones where you have a very hard time doing the design. You do so many revisions. You start questioning whether this project will ever kick off. So there have been quite a number. And there's one in Riverside, some apartments within Riverside. There's some houses which I was involved in, even in Karen. So for me, it's like you were just saying a few minutes ago. Those projects that you see from beginning to the end, you know, the struggle you go through during the initial stages, the back and forth with the client, then now seeing that come into reality, that is the most fulfilling bit about it. All projects for me, most of them, all projects.
So basically your project, you've had some memorable moments with them.
Yes.
Okay. Any particular or significant project that you've worked on that has stood out for you?
Okay, yeah. Service station we did in my one of my first sites when I was just starting out in I think 2014, 2015, and it was a service station that had a KFC. It had actually one of the first drive-throughs. It had a KFC. It had a shop. It had a restaurant in it. It was very different from what I was used to. I was used to just doing service stations with the basic facilities, but now this one threw in a twist.
Yeah,
It
it's
had
an all-in-one. You have a
all-in-one.
restaurant. You're
Yeah.
designing for the restaurant,
Yeah.
the petrol station at the same time.
Yeah, and it had a new challenge, and it was very interesting because of just the unfamiliarity. It was challenging, and at the end of it all, when we were even cutting the ribbons and opening it, it felt really good. Yeah.
Interesting. Someone would expect you to say that you worked on a very massive mega project, but it's very interesting because for us engineers, oftentimes our most memorable projects are the ones that you did when you're almost blank.
Yes.
You
Yes.
didn't, you weren't as experienced,
Yes.
and you got involved, you got engaged, you did as much research as you could, and at the end of the day,
Yeah.
just attending that inauguration ceremony,
Yeah.
it feels really nice compared to working on a very massive and a big project when you have all the experience.
Yes. Exactly.
Interesting. And what advice would you give to someone who's considering starting out, or someone who's just graduated and they don't know where to start? What would you advise them?
My advice to them would be to really be aware of which career path they want to take. This is something that, for me, fortunately, I was able to learn even when I was in university. So I knew I wanted to join I'll call it the consulting engineering field. I wanted to be a practicing engineer in the building services and so on and so forth. Yeah. So you need to be aware of where you want to end up, and that will help you even in terms of where you'll be doing your application for your jobs. It will also help you just even in terms of how how you approach the whole process of doing your job searching, how you do even your internships when you're in school. You have to also try and build up on that. So you really need to understand where you want to go and the path that you need to take to get there, because it's not very clear for very many engineers. You'll find there are very many who end up doing probably things they hadn't really intended of doing, ending up doing even things which are non-engineering altogether, just because they're frustrated, maybe because they started off in the wrong place. So that would be my parting shot to them.
So basically identify an area of specialization.
Yeah.
So that when you just graduate, you're able to pursue it.
Yes.
Don't just send blanket applications everywhere, and whoever responds first, that becomes your area of specialization.
Be intentional. Be very intentional about where you want to end up and what you want to do as an engineer. Do you want to be a practicing engineer? Do you want to be an engineer in the telecommunications world? You know exactly where you want to go, and also understand the companies that you need to be approaching for you to get to that position. That will also help you become the engineer that you want to become. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So Mike, before I let you go, a trivia question. If you're given two options, which one would you take? So the two options are these. Either your age is accelerated to a 70-year-old. So basically you wake up tomorrow morning, you're a 70-year-old with $1 billion in the bank. And this is dollars, not Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
Or option two, you wake up tomorrow morning, you're a 10-year-old, zero money in the bank, but with the same information that you have right now. Which option would you go for?
Second option, 10-year-old with all the information and knowledge that I have. Yes.
That was real quick. Why?
Ask me why. Okay.
Why?
Because 70-year-old, how many more years do you have to live? First of all, let's start there. And 10 years old, you have so much that you can do. You have a whole lifetime to do all the things that you'd ever want to do. So the possibilities are endless. But
let me ask you, Mike. You see, a 10-year-old, you have all these opportunities, but nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah.
But for a 70-year-old, you have $1 billion.
But you see,
at your disposal.
You'll have missed out on the rest of your life. Between like for me, example, from my age now to 70, and I missed out on all that.
With $1 billion, you can make up for all those years.
How many years are you going to spend that $1 billion?
Even if it's 20 years, by the time you're 90, you're like, I'm done, man. You've lived your life. So you never have to work the rest of your life. You'd rather go for a 10-year-old.
Let me start as a 10-year-old. Maybe by the time I'm hitting 30, I don't have to work for the rest of my life. Then I have from 30 to 80.
But that is not guaranteed.
No, but you see, it's a risk I'm willing to take.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. Boss, give me $1 billion and make me 70. In fact, just for the heck of it, add another 5 years, make me 75.
and chances of you enjoying that money when you're 70, you know, you probably old age, you know, being as active as you need to be. So you don't enjoy it as much as when you're younger. Yeah.
But you see, when you say you won't enjoy it as much as you are younger, you are a 10-year-old with nothing.
Yeah.
But information.
But you see, you're 10 years old with nothing, but you have the chance of making something by the time you're hitting 20, 30. So.
But why be a 10-year-old with a chance of making something?
Yes.
Yet you can be 70 with that something that you're hoping you'll make.
No, but you're seeing.
Plus you see.
Yes.
You see, as a 10-year-old already, you're with your parents. You want to invest. You have all these brilliant ideas about where to invest.
Yes, you'll be investing when you're with them.
Who is listening to a 10-year-old?
No. You can.
Who is listening to a 10-year-old? Yeah. You see, you're 10 years, but that information you can probably only maximally utilize it when you're 18, because that's when you're going to get your freedoms and whatnot. As a 10-year-old boss.
Not necessarily. The parents who let their children explore that creativity, explore that independence, and they support them. So you could be one of those kids who turns out to be a genius, or who's like one in a million who makes it early in life.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to say, some of us would not take chances with $1 billion.
And I don't know, $1 billion being given to you up front, age of 70. I don't know. I don't know whether there's any excitement in that.
Okay. Let me make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Tutoke 70 tukurudishe 60.
Yes. No. No.
Wait, 60? No. I've given you an additional years. No. Sawa basi, my final offer. Tutoke 60 tukuje 50 with $1 billion.
No.
And you're a 50-year-old.
No, anything below 30 with $1 billion maybe.
No, Nicoletta 30 maybe give you $1 million. It can't be $1 billion anymore. Below 30, and you know by there I'm giving you that money, and I'm not giving you probably don't have the same information you have right now.
Nah, I think it's the first answer.
With a 10-year-old.
10-year-old.
What?
I could do so much. I could do so much more. I could even make more than that $1 billion you're talking about if I play my cards right.
You see, my main concern is it's the gamble.
But you see,
you could, but you see also maybe you couldn't.
It's a risk. To do anything big, you need to risk. And for me to be a good enough risk.
Well.
Yeah, and then I get to also relive now all the experiences I've gone through. Maybe create new experiences from 10 to 70. What more do you want?
Okay. Yeah. Sawa. All right. That's it. Asanteni sana, guys. Yeah. It's been another wonderful episode. Asante sana, Mike, for gracing us with your presence. You know, you've been planning this for the longest time. Yeah. And glad to finally have you create time for us. Asante sana for coming. And wishing you all the best. Thank you for having me. And yes, I'm looking forward to having another session now with you where I get to ask you questions. Who, me? Yes. It's the Pipeline Podcast. Brian, please have my name somewhere so that we know clearly who's supposed to be asking the question. But yeah, asante sana, Mike, and looking forward to having another session with you in the future. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend. The Pipeline Podcast with William Archer.